Welcome to the Salt Circle Podcast. My name is Hank. With me today is a small mammal.
Wow. Is this really gonna fucking use your height like that against me? I'd like to think that in this podcast we're sort of equals because one of us isn't standing head and shoulders and head and shoulders and head and shoulders over the other. But that's fine. Yeah. Hey, small mammal here.
The joke breaks down because you're the one who would want to eat a quiche, and I'm not.
I would, actually. I understand that desire pretty deeply.
We're here to talk about the comic book Bone.
Yeah.
Written and drawn by Jeff Smith.
It's good.
All right. It's a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. You know, I give it a thumbs up. See you next time. The perfect clip content for like a preview sound file or something.
It's our YouTube channel. It was like 1 minute videos.
Yeah.
It was good or it sucked.
Just editing the podcast down to its bare essentials.
Uh-huh.
It's good. This wasn't. I liked it. So, I think that I probably told you off episode where my only like experience with this comic was, and it was seeing ads for the color release in the back of Nintendo Power.
Oh, it's funny.
Like that's the only, and it would constantly, it would trick me every time. Like I forgot multiple times that it was a comic and I wasn't interested in it, and then I would look at it and think it's a game, and then I'd be like, "Ooh, what's this game?"
There is a game,
but it wasn't the game.
There is a game.
What? How old's the game?
There's a Telltale game.
There's a Bone Telltale game.
They never finished it. They only made 2 episodes.
Oh God!
But it's like one of the first things Telltale made. It's like the first adventure game they made.
This looks kind of cursed.
This
comic wasn't meant to be in a 3D medium, Hank. I don't like this at all.
It doesn't look. It's not high budget, I'll say.
Yeah.
And it's old. Also, it's old.
That looks like something that would give me.
I played a demo of it once.
Yeah, that looks cursed.
And it's like, yep, this is like an old adventure game.
Yeah. I wish I would have read this comic back when I saw it in Nintendo Power.
Fair.
It's good, and I think it would have hit. It would have hit with me back then.
So I definitely heard about Bone like years and years before I ever actually read it. Because I learned about it because I had a subscription to Wizard magazine.
As all wizards do.
Well, Wizard magazine is a comic book magazine.
You can't fool me.
And they loved. Look. No, their Magic the Gathering. Their gaming magazine was called Inquest. This is a different one, okay?
Okay, well, I'm not going to. This isn't a debate about the quality of different wizarding articles or journals.
Wizard magazine loved 2 things, okay? They loved Bone and they loved titties.
Man. Being a wizard sounds cool as hell.
And like Wolverine, I guess, or edgelord characters also.
Rorschach.
But within their love of Witchblade, there's also like they definitely championed Bone as like this thing is dope. Okay. And that's mostly where I was exposed to like this comic is good, but I never read it till college, when I don't even know how I found out about the one volume So before the color one, they put out a single black and white volume,
Yeah.
but it was the full story in one thing. So that was like super appealing. Like, oh, I could read the whole story, and it was like surprisingly cheap
Hell yeah.
when I was like at my peak of getting back into comics and just reading stuff. So I did, and it was great. And I listened to the soundtrack to the Royal Tenenbaums like the whole time I read it. So that soundtrack was weirdly burned into my brain along, like it was a weird, like I pair these two things together just because I listened to this music specific thing while reading this book
Yeah.
for whatever reason.
Oh, I feel that.
And then like Bone is one of like the, it's like I gave my mom a copy of Bone and she really liked it.
Nice.
That's cool.
You didn't give her a copy of Moby Dick?
I did not. I've never read Moby Dick.
I think I have it from somewhere. It exists.
I'm pretty sure I have it.
In my
I think I had a copy of Moby Dick that also came with Moby Dick on a floppy disk.
Sounds like the experience of a lifetime. So
The only true way to read Moby Dick.
they really did me dirty with one thing in this comic. And
What?
I know that technically the spellings are different, but for my walnut brain, it didn't matter. And that is the fact that there is phone bone and phony bone. That one hurt. Even like 8 volumes in, I was like having to think about it sometimes.
They're spelled pretty different.
But they sound.
One of them has a shirt, Ben.
I don't. You know, all bones
Completely
look
different.
alike. All bones look alike.
Wow. That's rude.
There was one point where I like when they were running and a bunch of shit was happening, and I did think that the beat for the story was going to be that they got like swapped, like they got the wrong.
Nope, that never happens.
Kind of surprised.
Phone Bone never puts on that shirt.
Well, why would you? If you're used to free balling, like clothes
True.
would be the most restrictive garbage in the entire world.
It is funny, like when I saw like other people talk about Bone. So much of it was colored by the early issues. So Bone was originally released like in comic book shops as an independent comic book that was coming out like twice a month, with like some breaks.
Sure.
And it came out from like 1991 to 2004. So like it ran for. It took a long time for it to all be out. So like back when I was reading Wizard magazine, it wasn't finished yet.
Yeah.
So like the tone change, like the way the story changes when like the plot really kicks in after volume 2. Like it I always felt like it was sold as like happening later than it does. But when you read it all as one thing, like I did, and you did, like that stuff is just like clearly table setting. Like it's not like this is what. Whereas there are people who like think of Bone as that then this other story happened or whatever.
Okay. So they view
Because
it
for years,
yeah.
it's just like this, slice of life adventure, like these characters living in the forest or whatever, and then there's a cow race.
Yeah.
And it's funny, not as like a grand fantasy epic, which is what it is.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I guess it's understandable, but it's also weird. Like, it's even before getting there, it's clearly more than like slice of life, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I find that pretty. Yeah.
That's just what I've. That's what I've found. My experience with people who would like experience Bone when it was earlier, like as it was coming out or whatever.
Yeah. Man. I took more screenshots of panels from this than like anything else we've read so far. And I had to like hold back. There's so many bangers. Just absolutely stellar.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I definitely the first one I really identified when yeah, no, they all I was going to say when Phone Bone comes into the forest, but they all kind of do at once, right? Just or no.
Yeah, they get
but they're separated.
Yeah, the locusts drive them off the cliff.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and when Phone Bone sees Thorn for the first time, there's like that panel of her like taking a bath or whatever, like sees her leg and he just lights him like his head lights on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's why Wizard Magazine liked it.
Great shit. I identify. Not with Thorn, because she's like 17. But, you know, another reason why I should have read it when I was like 14.
Yeah.
Really, what it was great relating this back to the Akira comic. Grandma Ben just being fucking.
Oh, she's so good.
It's an unstoppable force. Like what's her name from Akira, where it's like, yep, I just this is great. Like the whole time, and I'm glad that it never like lets up. It doesn't ever change. Like she's just badass the entire way through.
No, she's just the best.
That fucking it's another super early panel, I guess, where it's her like meeting Phony Bone, and she's like, Ted dear, I think you'd better leave. I'm gonna tear this little fella apart from the inside out. And she's like smiling and rolling up her sleeve. It's so fucking good. It's so unbelievably oh my god, it's just fucking great. Like yeah. I really like the brand of humor and like the style of jokes just really really fucking hit. It was really good.
Yeah, and like I love the way he is so willing to just mix styles of characters, like that the Bones are just like cartoon characters
yeah.
in the world with like regular people.
Yeah.
Who like some of them have superpowers or whatever, like Thorn and Rose, but most of them are just like normal dudes. They don't have like, but then like Phony Bone is out here like with his jaw fucking hits the table.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like go all the way with the like the physical comedy of it.
Yeah, it's very good that way. There's just so much. Like I wanna fucking hop around. I have mixed feelings about Phony Bone. I mean, because he's an ass.
Because he's a terrible person.
Yeah, like I wanted him to grow, and he kind of did, but also didn't.
But not really.
Yeah, like he would like temporarily like shut up, but then it just didn't take.
Oh. Look, they're they're not characters with like, I don't know. He's just a cartoon. He's Scrooge McDuck. He's only gonna grow so much.
Yeah. I love
The important thing is that he doesn't get his way.
Yeah.
He's not allowed to win.
I love that I love how he seamlessly like switches from like it starts out and they're like when they're riding through the desert and Smiley Bone is like, give me $1 for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he finds out there's no currency, he just kind of like he's upset, but then he just kind of rolls with it. He's like, we're gonna have so many eggs.
Just pure greed.
Hell
I love when they get into town and he's like all excited to the Athea at the end. He's all excited he's gonna see a transaction with real money, and the lady pulls out her purse and pulls out an egg.
Yeah. So good.
But I like that he is smart. Like he's really good at manipulating people for his ends, even though
Yeah.
He sucks and they hate him.
Or his like his
know.
shining moment when everyone's like, where the hell would this crown be? And he's like, it's obviously here. And it's only the only reason he knows it is because he's a greedy asshole. So he thinks like one.
Like, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was
It's like how he figures out the treasure is in the well.
Yeah.
Because he listens to things people tell him because they might be useful information for him to make some money.
Hell yeah.
He needs to be able to leverage it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I think it's a good archetype in that because he's terrible, but it makes for good.
Jesus.
What the hell is happening?
Someone's doing some sort of work upstairs, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. I think technically they're supposed to wait another hour before they go balls deep. But yeah, that was a hacksaw.
Cool.
Yeah. No garbage truck here. God willing.
Man, no, at least no one's gonna pull out a hacksaw at 1 a.m. here.
I mean, I'm just curious, like, the people upstairs fight a lot. Like, they scream at each other. Like, it's full on, like, sometimes you hear shit, like, it sounds like they're throwing stuff. It sounds like, but I can't tell. Maybe they're throwing stuff at the floor. Either way, I just hope he's hacksawing a table and not, or her. Like, I shouldn't be sexist here. Like, it could be either of them. Definitely equal household. Anyway.
They saw through the floor.
Oh.
A little hole pops up in your ceiling, and they just yell at you to quiet down.
You know, I don't even. Oh, that's a nightmare. I don't even care about the damage. I just don't want to have to deal with it. You know, it's like the paperwork
totally.
side of things. Like, I don't want any of that smoke. Ugh. So I really loved it's not like I don't know what counts for like a B plot in this comic, but I love the evolution of the running gag of Moby Dick in this comic. Because at first it's like the fact that it begins with like Moby Dick is boring and reading it puts people to sleep. And then by the end of it, we get to, oh no, you're boring. Like, it's not Moby Dick, it's you reading.
Oh, Moby Dick's fine.
And then
It's just Bone is a boring person.
another bit that I lost my mind over this where it's the bit with Smiley Bone and what's the rat cubs? What do they call it? His like the little rat creature friend that he finds that they.
Oh,
like
they're Bartleby.
Bartleby, right. Where he's like, "Can you read us some Moby Dick? I want to teach Bartleby how to nap." And Phone Bone is like, "It's not a sleeping aid or whatever. It's a classic piece of literature or something." And Smiley is like, "Oh, even better, debating its merits." I was fucking dying. It was so good.
Smiley Bones, he's just like, he's always down for it. He's always stoked until he's always worried about Bartleby.
Yeah, it was I love how, oh my god, I love how they all play off of each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Like, they're simple archetypes, but because they're all these good characters, they really work off each other well. And then you get like more complex characters like Rose and Thorn.
Yeah. Complex. Is it really that complex? It's badass grandma and chosen one jailbait. I don't know what's that. It's not horribly convoluted.
Yeah, no. Conflicted teenager.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd be so. It's one of those things where I can't for the life of me remember the name of the book. What the hell's his name? Holden Caulfield? Holden Caulfield. The author.
Now you've screwed me up.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Pretty much. Yes.
Do you know what book I'm talking about?
I don't remember.
Fuck. I can't remember the name of it. It's relevant. I'm holding the thought.
Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye. So I never read that book.
Me either.
And I've heard that if you read it as like early teenager, something like that, anywhere from like 12 to maybe 15 or 16 or something, you really identify with what's his name, like the main kid character. And it's just because it's how a kid would think and feel. But when you come back to it as an adult, you're like, you little fuck. Like, you little shit. And I would be so curious, like, I wondered if I would feel like that. Like, if I read this when I was younger, like, watching how Thorne handled some of this stuff. Because, obviously, like, thinking about it, some of her, when she just, like, doesn't want to trust anyone. And she, like, runs off and stuff. I'm like, that's totally reasonable, but also is not. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I mean, I get it just because Rose completely lied to her over and like keeps being unwilling to tell her the truth.
Yeah.
But also Rose is so clearly trustworthy because she's the best.
Yeah, right? Like it's so easy for me to be like, why would you ever leave her side? Phony Bone says it. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? Like, by your side is the safest place in the entire war.
I mean, he's also like trying to get his gold when he's doing that, but yeah.
So, yeah, her journey, like, it was still very enjoyable, and just how it like. We got I guess a little bit of growth out of Phone Bone. Like that, he's coming to, like, the lengths that he'd be willing to go and stuff to help.
Yeah, I'd say, like, the real change is the way, like, his relationship with Thorne evolves. Where, like, it's just, like, he has a crush on her to, like, they're in it together and they're working together. Like, it becomes a partnership by the end.
Yeah.
And that's just it's super cool seeing that come together.
Yeah, instead of tagging along, he's like side by side, more or less.
Yeah.
Figuratively. Yeah, that was nice to watch. I don't know.
Well, I like that dynamic. It's rare where you have a dynamic with your two main characters that like starts with like one of the characters being like romantically interested in the other, and it evolves into where like they're just like really good friends. Like it's not going there.
This guy saying romantic. That thigh was not romance, Hank. That was
Okay, so it starts with him being
skin.
incredibly horny. It starts super horny.
His name
and
is
then...
Bone, Hank.
Yeah. Sure. You just want me to say horny again? That's what it is. It's just horny.
But yeah, that it evolves nicely.
But then becomes into just, an actual partnership.
Yeah.
Which is neat.
Because we're kind of jumping around anyway.
And different, like just not the way stories normally go.
I wanted them to end up together.
He's a weird cartoon thing.
Dude,
I don't know.
Okay, maybe not end up together, but like I wanted them to stay. I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly disappointed by the ending.
Oh, by the ending?
Slightly. Because I think the chief thing for me, because we learned that they're orphans, right? And like they're what they have in the world. Like
they're their only family.
Yeah. So to me, like I understand that. I guess it's more of like a like a vote thing, I suppose. Like I totally get that. Like if I'm imagining like, okay, if me and my siblings were in this situation, like exactly, and I wanted to stay and both of my siblings wanted to return, it would fucking suck.
The guy who moved to Russia doesn't like when the character decides to go home and stay with his family. Huh. Weird.
Hey, that's different.
The guy doesn't relate.
If I've said it many times. Okay. Imagine the exact comic of Bone, except the forest has Skype and internet. And they have a family that they could talk to. Like it's just if I couldn't communicate with my family, I would not have moved. Like if we didn't live in the world we live in, I wouldn't have moved. So I understand it, but also since they're all each other, I don't know how to phrase that properly.
I mean, honestly, the key to me is like they spend a year there after the story is over.
Yeah.
Like he's not like immediately dipping. He's like they spend a whole nother year together.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I gotta go with my cousins. And like there are stories where I think the characters going home is stupid, but I think it's fine here. Honestly. I think it works.
It's certainly not bad, and it's grown on me. At the time, it was very disappointing. But like as I said, I can relate to it. Like on one hand, for me, I'm like, if you three are all that you have for family in the world, why not just stay here, you know? But if two of them want to go back, again, like I can understand that. Like it would be a fucking rough choice, but yeah, I would stick with them, with my family. So,
yeah. I also think Bartleby will probably have a better time living in a place doesn't look at him as like a monster that eats people.
Yeah.
It's just like, Yeah. less preconceived notions about what a
I
rat
do
person is.
I do love the final, what's the word I'm looking for? Not jab. I don't know, but the final dunk on Phony Bone where he opens the treasure box and it's just the stale bread things or whatever.
It's like, oh no, we emptied out all those treasure chests so we could have more food for the trip. It's like,
So
what?
fucking good.
He's like convinced he's gotten away with the gold.
Yeah.
Rose is there, all being nice. Oh, when she's nice to Phony Bone, it's so funny.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. So, have you
He has that gold he had his face on. That's not nothing.
have you done any of like the extra stuff? Because I was looking and like apparently there's like another story that is like with related but different characters, and there's like I'm looking here. There's
They're
like a
books
short story
with, like,
about the cousins returning to their hometown and stuff.
Yeah, there's Coda, and there's some other books. I haven't read any of the book stuff. It's just not. But there's a prequel about Rose that I have read.
Okay.
I think it's just called Rose. That's that comic that is not drawn by Jeff Smith. It has like a weird art style. And it was just okay. It wasn't nearly as good as I wanted it to be, I'll say.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen, or I took a look at the other shit, but I just didn't really have the urge to like go look at any of it. I would trust it.
It's part of it for me is like the art is really important to what I like about Bone.
Mm-hmm.
So like none of the stuff is a comic drawn by Jeff Smith, so I kind of don't care. I have read other Jeff Smith stuff, and that stuff I've really liked, I'll say. Like he did a Captain Marvel Shazam, DC's Captain Marvel story.
Okay.
That I really like, and he did his next big comic was Rassel, which is like more an adult theme, like about time travel and heists and like stealing stuff through time. It's wild.
Nice.
I haven't read that in a long time. We should do that at some point.
Is it also beefy?
It's not. I don't think it's as beefy.
It's just a beef podcast. 75 episode anime, 18 volume comics.
I mean, yeah. Look, we have to get through the 75 volume anime so we can read the 24 volume comic instead of reading the 18 volume comic.
Just remember, next week we're doing the entirety of the Animorph series, so gotta read all 2,000 books.
No.
Yes. You have to read 800 instances of what's her name beautifully turning into a horse.
All right, then we can get back to Daniel X.
Book
2, Daniel
Put
X.
$1 in the Daniel X jar. God damn it. I like completely pushed that book out of my mind, and then you just rip me back into the universe where it exists.
I mean, we haven't even read the graphic novel or the manga. You haven't even played the DS game?
We don't need to. Look, the only way...
The DS game's pretty good.
The only way
it's an okay, like, mediocre Metroidvania game.
See, I don't even like Metroidvanias.
It has the benefit of being short.
The only way I would play a Daniel X game, or if they made a movie, would be if Daniel X himself was narrating it. Like, from the book.
You need to watch the Maximum Ride movie.
Yeah, that's the
Another
one
James
that's
Patterson banger.
Yeah. That the movie you said was like in the so bad it's good territory, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back to Bone Boys. I felt so bad for. I just wanna remember that I could say his name right and that I haven't forgotten. Okay, it is Lucius. I didn't want to say Lucius and look like a stupid idiot. I felt so bad for Lucius during the bet that he had, and then Phony Bone just starts being like, "Yeah, I'm a dragon slayer." Those evil dragons. Like,
Yeah.
I think maybe it just hit too close to home. Like, oh, we're just gonna blame these things that aren't really affecting us, and like try to destroy them.
mean,
I don't. Ugh.
that felt true to life when I read it, and it feels even more true to life now.
Yeah. It was like it was infuriating.
It is like, oh yeah, this is human nature right here.
Yeah.
It's fucking terrible, but this is what people are like.
Yeah, that it got better afterwards, but for that little arc, I was like, Phony Bone is no longer an amusing annoyance. He's a fucking monster.
I love when the Red Dragon just gets himself trapped in his trap.
Really good.
It's like, because like Phony is awful, but at the deepest center of his darkened heart, he's not a bad person.
Yeah, he wants to rile up the crowd. He doesn't want them to actually do anything.
I mean, he wants to steal all their worldly possessions, but
goals.
Yeah, sure. He can feel bad about things. Just not stealing from people.
Well, he's not stealing. He's accepting payments and donations. Or leading them.
Sure, based on lies.
God. Yeah. Lucius was a good dude though. I kind of felt bad that he never got the cathartic release of getting to strangle Phony Bone. All those neck veins just popping, teeth clenched.
It's true.
He wanted it so badly, but he held back.
I like how how the comic plays him and Rose's past.
Yes.
Like when Phony Bone just assumes that they're like gonna get together, and Rose is like, "No, that's not happening."
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good bit.
That's like kind of what that prequel comic I think is about, like him choosing.
Him being horny and instead of smart.
Yeah, him going with the girl who's.
She was more matured.
Out more.
She was more matured in the way a woman can be, if you get what I'm saying.
In the way a woman can be when she's being spoken to by a demon.
Yeah, that was a good reveal. I was not. The
moment when it's like first revealed that it's
yeah,
or what?
Yeah, when you find out that it's Rose's sister.
Yeah.
I was not expecting.
I like when you find out that she's actually literally cut in half.
Yeah, it's just the
like
locust,
when she falls
like,
apart.
Yeah,
it's just like two bags.
Yeah, it's like
held
sack
together
legs.
by locusts.
Very good.
She's such a mess.
And then she like, when she gets the second chance or whatever the hell, and she's like, "Yeah, locust," and they're just like filling her void.
Uh-huh.
Thank God it's not a movie. That wouldn't be very serial friendly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're like, this just has a lot of things that I was like, okay, it has trees. It's got a character who's he's kind of a fish out of water, and they're not like in their home. It's a fantasy epic.
Yeah, man.
There's a creation myth.
Dude, it's
with Mim.
It hits a lot of notes in a very good way. It hits a lot of notes for a very pleasing chord.
I love that when they after they beat her and then fucking Mim, there's like, oh no.
Yeah.
The giant dragon is still coming.
I wanted more time with that. Instead, like
it goes pretty fast.
Yeah. Like she's just there.
I do like that image of just like getting swarmed by all those other dragons.
Yeah, and they pull her down or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I think that art works a little better in black and white because they're not all like, not in the color version. All the dragons are just green, so it just looks like she's covered in vines or something.
I didn't think they were all green
when they swarmed on her. Yeah,
it's probably it's probably like varying shades, so close enough.
Yeah. I guess like only like the red dragon has to stand out as being red.
I thought of a better reveal, actually. The reveal that all of the heart, like all of the shit surrounding the bone with the star is fucking because of the parade float.
Yeah.
Like that.
The prophecy that foretold Phony Bone as being one of the chosen one.
Yeah, the whole fucking prophecy shit, and then they show him and it's just a big inflatable Phony Bone. Unreal.
And Phony's like, "Are you serious?"
Oh my god, I couldn't like that's like what I mean,
that shit is great.
Perfect example of what you were saying with like the cartoon bullshit combined with like the realism or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, god damn it. Just ridiculous.
Well, and it's also so funny because like the bones clearly come from like a more modern society.
Yeah.
Whereas like we're like in this more medieval agrarian stuff in our actual setting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just funny, like she doesn't know what a balloon is or whatever.
Yeah, just no idea.
Just completely, it's like, oh, this sign, it's so big.
It's so big. It's so big and clear. Yeah.
And it was threatening. Because, like, the way it was cut off was like, Phony Bone's coming to get you, or whatever.
Yeah. Fucking so good.
It was all his fault. I also love that it's all his fault still.
Yeah, it all just comes back to them getting kicked out.
All his problems are also kind of his own making.
Hell yeah. Well, yeah, because I guess Did they start like returning to the valley because of that? Like they were looking for him or whatever? I'm trying to remember if like the bones being there was like a catalyst or if things were already starting to like kind of heat back up. Or maybe them being there
part of it
accelerated it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because she really never wants to find Thorn. So,
yeah.
Like she basically gets motivated by potentially getting able to pick somebody else.
Oh right, yeah, because she doesn't want
to
be upstaged.
Well, because she wants to be the one who gets possessed,
Yeah.
and she's just like, if Thorn is there with her torso connected to her legs,
And also is just stronger.
and
She wants
younger
to-
and alive.
She wants to continue being bottom bitch.
Yeah. God, also like the way her speech balloons work, where they're like coming out, like the way he draws them is like coming out of deep inside her. They're not like floating in the air. They're like coming out of her throat or whatever.
Did I not notice that? I don't think I noticed that.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Her speech balloons are fucking wild. And it's really noticeable when she comes back to life, where it is like air rising up or whatever when she like it's like has like life breathed back into her or whatever.
Do you know what volume she comes back to life in? By chance?
I don't remember.
I'm going to hazard a guess. I'm gonna say that it's volume 8. Volume 8 seems right.
Volume 8 sounds potentially correct.
I want to see this. I want to see the deep throat voice bubbles. Oh, I started at the back, I guess. They're in the town. They're like doing shit. This is peak podcast content, by the way.
Hell yeah.
This is what it's all about. I lied also, I think. Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, the like with the long tails. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
the tails are coming out of her throat. They're not like
Well, this one,
I don't
some of them, these ones are like floating, but all of them are very like I see what you mean. Like this guy's is very, I mean, it's a normal thing, and hers have like, it's not out of her throat, but it's like the longest tail in the entire
and
world.
like well when her hood is down, it's like coming from out under the hood.
Yeah. Well, this one, like, so most of them on this page, they're all floating, and then one of them is like literally the tip is like in her mouth when she says kneel. Oh, that seems. I wish I would have noticed that. That makes it. It gives it a very guttural feel.
Yeah.
Kneel. Nice. That's a good detail.
I love that. I love that detail.
That's probably something I took in while reading. Like, it probably affected things, but I just didn't register that it happened.
Yeah, fair.
That it's there. Sometimes when you do something really well, nobody knows you did anything well at all, or something.
Yeah. Like, it's like lettering. Nobody notices it. Generally, people don't notice good lettering unless they know what to look for. But bad lettering,
Yeah.
if you see bad lettering in a comic, it stands the fuck out.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing about Bone is like, so Bone like comes out of an indie comics movement where like there was a bubble that then burst, and Bone is like one of the few things to survive.
Gotcha.
Bone was one of the few things that like kept trucking along, as like a lot of other
Was it just an
indie comics at that time
oversaturated,
died.
or?
Yeah, well, because it's the 90s. The comics
Oh,
speculator bubble
Yeah.
was like inflating all this stuff, and then that went away. So that like completely changed that whole scene.
Fucking comic speculation. Almost as bad as magic speculation. Almost.
It's like, better all buy the most printed comic book of all time. That'll be worth money.
I just don't. Yeah. I can't. maybe it's hindsight is 2020, but like I can't imagine people feeling that way. Like it feels like it should have been obvious. Maybe it was, and people just like they got those blinders on. I wasn't there.
People are now all about digital scarcity and investing in NFTs.
What do you mean?
That are actually ruining the planet. Have you not heard the crypto art?
Oh yeah. Wait, crypto. Okay. I don't know crypto art. I saw your post.
I mean, it's basically a blockchain token that's connected to like a JPEG or whatever that then people are speculating on because like there are this many tokens or whatever.
Ugh.
But it's like, and they're like doing it for like saying like artists can, protect their ownership or whatever. But like, or the NBA is doing it. We're like, here's a layup that's connected to this blockchain token or whatever. But like, all you're really buying is that dumb blockchain token. Like,
yeah, I mean anything. Anything,
but
that's
it's a speculator market. That's all. That's my only point is speculator markets are all the rage again. What with people being stuck at home.
Yeah,
I mean, Magic cards also like spiked.
Whatever. Dude, baseball cards are on the fucking up and up.
Oh my god, the baseball cards.
I've been reading so many hobby drama stories of people who are like, yeah, they fucking skyrocketed, and then people realize that like they're baseball cards and there's a lot of them.
Yeah. I don't.
Pokemon skyrocketed. Magic is going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing that it definitely spiked.
So the thing I'll say, there's some things that are old, so they're at least like, it's an old piece of paper that's like a collectible or whatever.
Yeah.
The speculator stuff I never understand is like, this is a new thing that's being printed now as speculating market crazy is going on. That can't hold up.
Oh, dude, yeah. And that's like basically the stories I've read with baseball cards. Like,
yeah.
Everybody went fucking nuts, so the company's like, shit, people love our product, and they print a hell of a lot more of it, and everybody like starts buying it, and they realize, oh, we're not buying them out anymore.
Yeah,
shit, there's a lot of
that's
these.
Exactly the comic book thing is like, Action Comics #1 sold for a lot of money. Like, yes, Black Lotus is worth a lot of money. That doesn't mean like the hot new mythic or, Action Comics #1 1998 or whatever is gonna be worth money.
Yeah.
Because like if people are only buying it because of like the speculator craze, that's not a thing people are gonna be emotionally attached to or whatever. Also, like part of it's nostalgia for that stuff. Old collectibles.
And I feel like it's people like a lot of people get in and they just have no idea. Because I know with Pokemon, one of the catalysts, I mean, combined with everything else, people are at home, they have a bit of nostalgia for it, or they knew about it or something. And then what's his name sold that Charizard for like $350,000. Like it was a shitload of money for a near mint foil Charizard. And people were like, oh my god, that's a lot of money. And they started like, just, okay, I'll buy the new Pokemon cards, not realizing.
Nope. Don't do it.
All you need to do is like 30 seconds of research to figure out why that's a bad move. Like, to his credit, my friend who wants me to bring Russian cards back at least wants them because they're sexy, or at least was smart enough to lie about it to me.
Sure.
Because as a investment or whatever, I don't know. We're towing dangerous territory. Magic investing is a trigger point for me. Fucking idiots.
That's fair.
I'm done.
People are dumb. Look, but yeah, like the '90s speculator boom is how as a child learned about people being dumb about this stuff. Really, that's like
Yeah.
that is a ground
When-
zero for me.
when
And then
was-
and also fuck, I forgot what they called. But like those toy animals. that
Beanie
people
Babies.
went
I was
crazy
about to
about.
ask.
Beanie Babies.
Was that the
Yeah,
same? Was that
yeah.
90s or was that a little earlier or later?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I lived through that.
Hell yeah.
That was wild.
God. What a
Like,
fucking
what?
stupid. Of all, like at comics, I can understand. Like magic cards, I can understand. I don't get Beanie Babies. I don't get that shit at all. They're not like
They weren't old. That's what I
weren't
don't
old.
understand. There
Yeah,
wasn't like
they're not old.
There was nothing about them that was old.
like old Star Wars toys. Abso-fucking-lutely, I can understand that. But
Yeah.
a fucking Beanie Baby? Like, what are you doing? And the fact that some of them
Is
still
it-
have, like, some of them are still worth a little bit of money. Just because there were
Yeah.
those initial few that were only available at, like, a Burger King in Kenya or something. Like, just ridiculous. I'd still just have such a vivid picture of that divorce court hearing where the couple is dividing up their Beanie Babies. What a great shot. Oh my god.
Pretty good.
Imagine needing to sort out $50 worth of shit. Ugh. Yeah. People be wild, I guess.
Look, you can just collect things because you like them. I don't.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
not anymore. You can't with Magic. The single.
I mean, I can because I already have all my old Magic cards.
Well, yeah, but like,
But yeah, like I can't.
if you wanted, like, the problem, I think getting one of something is not terrible. The problem is, like, what if I want
Well,
multiple decks with this thing in it, and that thing is like anything over $1?
yeah.
I think if
Or I wish I had a Guy's Cradle. I don't have a Guy's Cradle.
see,
I'm never gonna have a Guy's Cradle.
I'll
That
be-
thing is gone. That is out of reach. I've seen Guy's Cradles in person, but
yeah, I'll be real with
like
you.
played with them as a child. But nope, never again.
If I ever build another EDH deck, some stuff I would like, the cheapy bits. I would get, but like, I would probably just get proxies for some shit. Like, literally anything over a couple dollars is getting proxied. Because I'm not paying that fucking much for cardboard.
Just playing tabletop.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah, no, tabletop is the
Or
is
or
peak.
or honestly, like play like Pauper Commander or whatever.
Yeah, but like, I kind of want to have my deep sea deck. I do. It would
Yeah,
be
I
nice
mean,
to have
that's
a
fair.
physical deck, but
I mean, I have my bear deck. I have my
Yeah.
Joyra deck.
yeah,
I understand. My bigger problem is like, I wanted to have like a couple Pauper decks or whatever, but I don't have the pay. I'm not playing at a game shop or whatever, so I'm not upkeeping those decks.
yeah,
Like I have like I have like a couple Pauper decks that were good like 2 years ago, which might as well be fucking eternity.
yeah. Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, that's ultimately like I wanted to keep my enchantment deck like kind of up to date, but there's a lot of enchantments. Deep sea creatures, not nearly as many of. I can take my one thing per set to even look at and determine if it's worth it.
Yeah.
All about those low numbers.
Hell yeah, Bears, dude.
Yeah.
Bears was a great choice.
Bears was a very
Also-
solid choice.
Well, my biggest pro move though was getting like a Chinese copy of Forest Bear before that showed up on Command Zone, and then you couldn't buy them.
Yeah. I mean, really,
like two of those pointless bears were more expensive than I wish they'd been, I'll say.
oh yeah.
For being bad cards.
I personally, I think they should just fucking rip out the reserve list. But they can't at this point. Like it would.
I think they actually could at this point.
Well, they could, but it would. Fuck
No, I
over.
think they could, and like, I don't think the reserve list cards would lose their value. It's actually, I think, just at the point where those are worth value because they're old. Like, I think revised stuff might lose value, but alpha and beta probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
They might
possibly.
dip, but they would rebound. Like, alpha prices are not going to be affected by any kind of reprint. I really don't. Like,
Alpha
that's
is
just not gonna happen.
certainly not. That's because that's to everything.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I think. Oh,
Like revised duels probably would. Those would lose value, but
I think like
nobody who actually has those for nobody cares. That's not a thing people actually care about.
But they only care because a lot of people know that it's first off, I mean, they're reserve lists, so obviously there's not going to be any more of them. But then people also know, like, wow, this is really good for Commander, which is like, I think Commander is the biggest format after Kitchen Table Magic, I think, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
So nobody, like, the reprint would be, I don't know. I'm of the mindset, not only should they abolish the reserve list, but anything that's like crazy expensive, like Gaia's Cradles, dual lands, all that shit, reprint it into the fucking dirt. Especially lands. Lands are it's how you play the game. Take a land and make 200 billion copies of it. Make that shit worthless because it's cardboard. Other stuff, whatever. Big shiny Shivan Dragon or whatever the kids are playing these days. Yeah.
Shivan Dragon, whatever the kids are playing.
You know, like, you could put some limits on it, but like, I think nobody should have to be like, can I afford this land for my deck? The answer should be yes, it's a land. I just hate that shit is so expensive. It's ridiculous. And like so much of it is expensive.
I think they should abolish the reserve list. I think it's only a positive at this point.
Oh yeah.
I think the I don't even think it would affect the investment stuff. Like the actual old cards that have lots of value.
I think
Personally.
Particularly
If you print stuff that's playable in Commander, because there'll be demand for it. People want that stuff.
there'll be demand.
Like the cards that like suck, that are only valuable because of dumbers, or only like propped up by reserve lists will probably.
Oh,
those
you
will
mean
probably lose
the
value.
90-cent card that Jeremy refused to trade me? You think that would tank? It's a worthless
might
card that
tank.
it had art and it had good flavor text. It was fucking worthless outside of that. No, it's reserve list. Get out of here. Ridiculous. I think it was a chippy card. Pretty sure it was early chippy. Yeah. I don't know. That stuff is I think definitely some stuff would. Here's the thing: stuff would still be like probably expensive because it is what it is. But if expensive goes from being like $400 to like $200, people are gonna be all pissed that their shit lost value, even though that's not how any of this works.
I just want to be willing to. I just want to feel comfortable bringing my Commander deck in public.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, the fact that people have gotten to the point where they expect their, like, if you're buying a dual land and you're expecting it to keep or increase its value, you fucked up. Why are you playing Magic? Don't do that. That's terrible. This is a piece of cardboard, sir, for a game. Like, I don't get pissed. Why does my graphics card not retain its value? I don't get pissed when it doesn't. That's how it works. You buy things and then you use them and then they become worthless because you, like, drop them or use them how they're supposed to be used. It's not a...
I mean, you need everyone else to throw them out, and then you're the only one with them left.
Yeah.
And then everyone else has regrets.
Yeah.
Whatever. We got...
But no, expense...
We fell down the hole, Ben. We fell off the wagon.
And I'm not stopping. I like it here in the filth of Magic.
I mean, if we were actually talking about Magic and not, like, reserve list, I could keep going. But I want to stop talking about that. That shit's dumb.
Swing it back to comics. Comic reserve list. Everything gets one print.
I mean, they reprint Action Comics all the time. #1 all the time. It doesn't affect the price of original Action Comics. You can just read that on the internet. Doesn't mean that piece of paper isn't still incredibly valuable.
Look,
because it's old and meaningful.
I'm the only value thing for comic books that I'm extremely happy about is that my 1970s DC Beowulf run is like $2 per comic in good condition.
Hell yeah.
I still need to order those at some point, but I think they had... That site you hooked me up with, I think, had all the volumes but 2.
Nice.
It's like my holy grail for comics that can probably be super easily found on a multitude of sites.
Hell yeah.
All about that life.
Yeah, I wonder what... Like... Now I'm gonna look up... actual bone issues.
Actual bone.
Grade 9,
Ooh.
bone #1, first printing, $5,000.
Ugh.
I mean, it was an independent comic.
I guess.
Again, I don't have a, like, yeah, that one is the first printing of a #1 of a thing that's widely reprinted. That's fine.
Yeah,
you can go to fucking, buy the color version from Scholastic get the whole first volume for $10. Not on sale.
I suppose.
Buy the whole of Bone for fucking 30 or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it could be.
Okay, so by issue 9 is worth $7.20.
Fuck yeah.
Issue 11 is $2.40.
Is that still graded and shit?
No, those are like those are like 7.5 or whatever.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Like they're not worth actually grading after that.
Well, I suppose I shouldn't say. Or I don't know which order it happened in, but my late uncle had a shitload of baseball cards, and he was definitely in the category of people who like speculated and like got burnt on it or whatever. There was like some stuff that was worth, but it's like sorting through a Magic collection. It's 99.9% chuff. And there was some stuff that like had the grading, I don't know what to call them, like the plastic, the plastic shit with the numbers on it and everything. And I'm like, ooh, okay, some spicy stuff. And I looked them up and they were like $3. And I'm like, were these graded at a time when they were super expensive, or were they graded in the hopes that they would be super expensive or like planning ahead. So that does seem that's what I should do for the Beowulf comics. Read them, scan them so I can continue reading them, and then get them professionally graded and put in a plastic thing. It's a collector's item, but I'm the collector.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, the annoying thing is, like, you want to get a comic. When I would want to get a book to read it in, like, a collection, but it was out of print. So it would just be, like, the price would be jacked up just because, hard to find.
yeah.
And I'd have to wait for it to come back into print. And when it come back into print, then it'd be reasonable.
Yeah. Same. I'm curious.
Now
the what?
like the DC and Marvel subscription apps are so good now.
Oh, dude.
That's a lot of it.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see. Because that same... What? I don't know if nobody's buying these anymore or what, but the same thing happened with Fox and the Hound. The novel. It was like $65. And then because it went out of print, but then it got a Kindle release. But now shit's like $200. I don't know what happened there.
I mean, if it still hasn't been printed in physical.
Yeah, it still hasn't.
Slowly, like, the supply dried up even more.
Yeah, I'm in on that. Book speculation game. I like my copy
Look,
of
I
Fox
bought books off eBay.
My copy of Fox and the Hound is valuable, and old books get valuable, and that's why I bought every new James Patterson book, knowing that someday it would be worth billions of dollars. This is ridiculous.
Wait, I have to find a recent auction for the Super Dictionary. That's not bad.
I assume Super Dictionary is like superheroes, yeah?
Yeah.
And not just a dictionary with...
It's where that, like, Lex Luthor stole 40 cakes meme comes from.
Hell yeah.
But, like, every entry in that book is meme-worthy. It's just that, for whatever reason, only that one particular one became a meme. Even though that entire book is gold.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, it invented a superhero, El Dragon, who can control elevators on Tuesday, I think, is one of his powers.
That's that feels like one of those powers where like people would post on the shitty superpowers subreddit, and then the top comment would be someone just breaking the fuck out of it and explaining why it's actually god tier and how you could become like a trillionaire doing it or something.
It also has, the Super Dictionary also has the man with the strangest hands in the world.
Now there's a power.
Spoiler, his hands are snakes. He has snakes for hands.
Okay. Wow, that's honestly a little disappointing.
It's honestly, it really pales into comparison to Master Pandemonium, who has the Scarlet Witch's children in his hands. Or demons. Usually his hands are demons, but that one time he had the Scarlet Witch's children as his hands. There's a comic. There's a comic about him being unable to eat cereal and questioning his life choices.
Okay, hold up. This isn't a horror podcast, Hank. Jesus Christ. You don't got to do that to me on a Saturday morning. Good Lord. Can't just.
What if you had demons for hands and couldn't eat cereal?
Yeah, you can't just hit me with that, dude. I'm sweating. I told you I have a problem. I imagine things happening to me.
Oh.
I wish I could cry on command. thinking about me. I can't. What if I couldn't eat cereal though?
What if you were cut in half and held together by locusts?
Could I still eat cereal?
You would get soggy, probably.
Oh, that's cursed. That's fucking cursed as hell. Imagine if you ate cereal and then your stomach like became soggy.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah. I mean, I assume she doesn't really have blood anymore.
I'm guessing it would be like a Pirates of the Caribbean thing where he drinks the wine and he turns into a skeleton, so it's just like going right through.
Yeah, like it would just, I'm just assuming it would pool at the bottom of her upper torso sac and then leak out slowly.
Depends on how many of my nerves are still connected, I suppose. Disgusting. What a awful note to end on. Really took this one down the
We
dirt.
didn't even talk about Rockjaw.
It's now pronounced Rockjaw. It's pronounced Rockjaw.
Rockjaw.
Yeah, I don't actually know. Like, I don't know how it's supposed to actually be pronounced.
Rockjaw.
I mean,
Rockjaw.
it looks like it might be French, which leads me to believe that we're missing about 37 syllables.
That's not how French works.
French has an unnecessary amount of syllables in it.
French, usually you just, like, don't pronounce most of the letters. This is generally how French works.
Okay, I don't even know how people generally pronounce it, but Les Miserables, miserable, Les Miserables. Sure.
Les Miserables.
I'm pretty sure that there's a C sound in there somehow, like in the original French.
No.
I'm pretty sure.
No. You're just wrong on this.
Okay. Okay. Look, French has a lot of bad words in terms of like
It has a
spelling.
lot of letters in its words that you just don't say.
Yeah, or ones that don't look like they're there, but they are. People bitch about English, but yeah. But
English
anyway.
is way more complicated than French.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound as bad. It's not as gross. English
French just
is
doesn't have enough words.
English is like a well-made stew. Just a little bit of everything.
No, I would not say well made.
No, incredibly well-made.
Nope.
How is it not? Okay,
As someone who only speaks and thinks in English, not well made. The structure of English is fucking garbage.
Riddle me
What are you
this,
talking about?
Hank. If it's not well made, then why do flammable and inflammable mean the same thing? Got him.
Uh-huh.
That one was a fun one to explain to students.
Just show them that Simpsons episode.
There's a Simpsons episode on it.
Yeah, Dr. Nick just goes, flammable means inflammable? What a country. After something explodes in his office or something.
Gotcha. Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Rockjaw was also good. One of the many.
You have
Good.
to pick a side. Everyone has to pick a side.
You gotta pick a side. I mean, that's not incorrect, though. Can't be sitting on the fucking fence. I didn't like the amount of unintentional analogies that this comic had for modern times. Every other page, just a flashback for the last 6 years.
It's, you know. I just think it nailed, you know, the world. It has a good
Yeah.
understanding of things.
Yeah.
These things are not about our times, but they're not
Not
applicable.
They're not about our time. Yeah,
which is pretty great for something written in the '90s, where
or sad
people. Yeah.
But yeah, Bone is very good.
Recommend.
Highly
If you've gotten this far and haven't read it.
What would your name be
Recommend.
if you were a bone?
Tired Bone.
Tired Bone. I would just keep my name. Ben Bone works pretty well, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Hank.
Yep. Salt Circle Podcast, gmail.com. Find Salt Circle Pod on Twitter. Our episodes are hosted at anchor.fm/Salt Circle. You can find us as Salt Circle on various podcasting apps. We have an email from Twitter telling us to download the app. Twitter app, I guess.
Cool.
Fucking Twitter, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't know anymore.
For sending me a notification about a random tweet someone made.
Dude, the amount of shit that site shows you that I don't care about. Also, the fact that apparently, just people need to stop liking shit. And because Twitter is not going to stop showing me, or they weren't going to stop showing me the shit that people liked.
I feel like I haven't seen as much of that anymore.
Well, that's
good.
good.
Like at least
sometimes I'm going about my day, just minding my business, scrolling through the feed, and then fucking boom, big ass milk truck titties up on my my feed. I didn't ask for them, but there they are.
Just when you just had to unfollow people.
I did, or at least completely muted them or whatever.
I mean, you technically unfollowed everyone.
I unfollowed the entire world. Yes,
the best answer.
I solved the problem.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at ConkPanels. Ben has absconded. He's gone back to Boneville.
Yeah,
Bone Town.
Feels pretty good. Not having to deal with the internet as much. Yeah.
I need NBA Twitter. I need to see all the layups so I don't have to buy NFTs.
Gross. All right, there's the end point. I'm going to go throw up.